We are here. Welcome back to Rubberducking
Podcast.
Podcast, Season 2, Episode 13.
That's right. I am still listening to the music, by the way.
Oh, are you now? Okay. Well, there it is.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
sorry
Yeah,
about
welcome back. Thank you so much for joining, listeners, and thank you so much for being here, Mike. And we've got a lot of exciting and fun stories in store for you guys. So,
That's right.
yeah, so let's dive right in.
Let's go.
So last episode we left off of like my high school experience, plus a little bit of like foster care system in America. So when I came to America, like I didn't speak any English, and I, didn't know where to navigate to. Like I don't know how to live my life, basically, because I was told how to live my life, right? So making choice was a huge like a problem for me. I feel like still sometimes like I still have a problem when it comes to choosing.
Too many good things to choose from.
Right. Too many good things. So like I was heavily relying on like the school system, right? Heavily relying on like foster care home and to actually guide me to to be where I need to be. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But one good thing about it though was I had a social worker, and that he has been like my father figure to me, and he was at my wedding as my best man. And yeah, he's been incredible, and his life is dedicated to helping other people. Like he's like I think he got his like bachelor's degree in his late 40s. And then and after having kids, and then he started working at a Catholic charity as a social worker. And then he left that job, and now he works at like the police department as like a kind of like a crime scene detective, kind of like a so it's a very interesting man. Yeah, very interesting man.
Yeah.
And he's been helping me. With that being said, if I could actually turn the time back, right, and go back to high school, like I don't know, I would go back.
You would go back?
I would go back. Yeah.
Wow.
I honestly had no idea what I was doing at my high school, right? But with the knowledge that I have, like I feel like I could have, maybe like made some better choices, if that makes sense. Like maybe I could have taken.
Wait. that sounds like you made some poor choices. I mean, is that what it is or no?
Well,
I don't think you made any poor choices. You're here,
Right. I mean, with the experiences that I gained, like that ultimately what led me here. So I am very appreciative of like the experience that I've gained, right?
Yeah.
But like when I think about it, like I almost didn't end up graduating high school. Like the reason is because like I've faithfully attended high school like year and a half, like every single day. I mean, you should, right? As you should as a student, you should do that. But a North Korean defector like me, I have a commitment issues. You know what I'm saying? We like to run away from problems. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. But like I don't know, like I wish that I saw some sort of like a progress in like my life development, right?
I see.
Like year and a half, right? I've faithfully sat there every single day, not knowing like what the heck is going on, like hoping that I think I will understand if I just one more day or one more month and one more classroom, it will get better. But a year and a half, 2 years, like nothing has been changed. I don't understand anything. I don't know what the heck is going on. And I'm tired. Like I'm sick and tired of coming to classroom, and I'm just keep trying like I'm barely like trying not to fall asleep.
Right, because you're not like able to understand anything that's going on. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So eventually then what happened, I started like skipping school. Like I would like show up in the first period.
So you check in.
Yeah, I would just check in, and then I would say hi to like the teachers, that like I like Mrs. Kerr, for example. If Mrs. Kerr, if you're listening, that's the reason why. Like I would say hi to Mrs. Kerr, and then I would just dip out. Because like I don't feel like I belong there. I really felt like, yeah, I don't belong here. Like it's not my place, right? Because like, and keep it in mind that I used to work as well, right, as a sushi chef. Like
That's right.
sushi
And so
restaurant.
you're doing this at the same time as working, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working at the Japanese restaurant,
Right,
and while working and while going to school, like I'm weighing like which option is better, and working sounded like really good at the time.
Right. Yeah.
So I did really poorly in school.
Right.
Like I was getting F, like not D.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course. I mean, that would happen to anybody, right? You can take any, like, even very highly aspiring high school student from here, just drop it in, I don't know, Japan or Korea or North Korea. They would get Fs because they're not going to know what's going on.
Well, if a aspiring American actually attends North Korean high school, I feel like they would get a triple A grade because
Really?
As a propaganda, right? Like how great the leadership in North Korea is. So Americans like anyway. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for saying that. That makes me feel a little better. But I mean,
yeah,
still,
it's just common sense. I think.
Yeah, but I feel like I still could have done better. Like until this day, like I don't like to talk about like my GPA. It's like I mean, it was like literally like 1.9 probably at best.
Hey, it's not 0. There we go. You had something.
There we go. Yeah. And therefore I, like and towards the end of like my high school years, like my social worker like drove to my house every single day from San Jose to Conquer. That's about hour and 40-minute drive.
Whoa!
Right? Like it's like one way.
Well,
right?
he deserved to be your best man.
I mean, he has been like coming like every day. It's like Charles, I at school. Like, what are you doing? You're calling me. Like, where are you? Like, why aren't you in school?
That's
like, I'm getting
amazing.
called. Your principal's here. Like, let's go. What's going on, man? Don't give up.
Wow.
So yeah, like he has been encouraging me to do good in school. So I eventually did graduate high school, right, with like blood, sweat, and tear.
Yeah. Amazing.
And the reason why I graduated was because I was literally aging out. Right? Because I came to America as 17 years old and 11 months. And September 21st, September 21st was the day that I arrived. My birthday is on October 1st. So it's like literally like what? Like 9-10 days later.
Right,
like,
it's not even 2 weeks. Yeah, it's wild.
So because I was and I still wanted to attend school, so I enrolled in high school as a freshman at the age of 18.
Wow.
And the time that I graduated was 22.
I'm curious. I mean, since you were talking about the high school, although you didn't speak the language, I mean, I'm sure you still got the like vibes of how people were. And I mean, how old are people at freshmen? Like 13, 14?
14.
Yeah.
14.
So did you feel like the people that were around you were
14?
Like less mature, like mentally? I knew that physically they were big. You talked about that.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Yeah. Well, I couldn't communicate, and a lot of people, like kids that were in high school, like I feel like they're mentally like it's like mentally like matured.
Really? You thought they were just fine? Yeah.
Yeah, they're just fine.
They didn't feel like kids to you.
No, they did not. I mean, it like the way, because like here's the thing too. Like in South Korea too. I when you go to school, like you have to wear uniforms, right?
That's right.
And you need to wear uniforms, and you have to like dress up to go to school. But in America, you don't have to dress up, right? I mean, certain schools, like they don't have a dress code. Like, well, I mean, yes, you have to wear, you have to wear pants and shirt.
Right, but you wear your just
underwear.
like whatever clothes you would wear at home.
But like a lot of like guys, right? They're like, and it was a winter, like the very first like October, right? Like going in it, and they're wearing like decent like not kids' clothes, right? Like not the rainbows or like dressing up like pretty like a
I see.
like a
like
good
an adult. Okay.
like an adult, right? So I felt like these aren't kids. Like just they've got mustache, and
I mean,
and the way that they talk, right?
Yeah.
It's like their voice is like
deep and low.
It's like, I mean, in North Korea, like kids that are like still at 20, still like it's very short and dark, and voice is still like.
Well, I mean, the American nutrition, I guess, did its job, and of course, to keep in mind that you are still a kid at this point too.
Right.
It's just, you're only 18. It's not like you're
Right,
30.
right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, keep it in mind. I mean, like in America, 18, like you're independent, right? You just go out.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
parents like,
Or at least that's
"Get
what the
outta
kids like
here."
to think. You
Right,
know, at
right.
18, you're still so far from being,
Yeah.
truly mature.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
don't
that's
think
that's
so.
interesting. So like they're big, they seem mature, at least in terms of appearance
Mhm.
and voice. So you didn't feel like you're among the kids. So maybe
No.
that means that you felt like you, at least like appearance wise, did you feel like you're blending in a little bit? Did you
I
feel like
was.
you're stuck? Okay, wow.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I felt like I was blending in.
Is there a decent bit of Asian population there too, right, Concord?
No, there
No?
wasn't.
Really?
There wasn't. So I
Huh.
attended Concord High, right?
Uh-huh.
Concord High School, and 80% of the population was Hispanic.
Oh.
And then, like, maybe like 5% white.
oh wow,
and
it's
then
very
like,
Hispanic.
yeah,
heavy.
3% like maybe like Asian.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then like any others. So they didn't have any Asian, kids in school. I mean,
Mm.
they had Asian kids, but Asian people like Filipinos and Vietnamese.
With no Korean.
There was one Korean who I feel like I talked about her last episode,
Uh-huh.
but she was graduating.
Oh, I see.
Right,
You didn't
so-
overlap much, right? I think. I
Right,
think
yeah.
you
So
did,
she, when I enrolled in high school, she graduated. So I didn't have any Korean friends, which I'm thankful for, right? Because like if I
Really?
actually spoke Korean at that like
Oh.
at the beginning of like the introductory of like my
I
time in
see.
America, if I spoke Korean, then I feel like I would never be here because I was just so comfortable just speaking
I see.
Korean
You
all the
wouldn't have
time.
picked up the
Right.
language.
Right. So I'm very thankful for
Wow,
the
right.
suffering that I went through. Right.
I mean, you listen to what you're saying here, and it seems that as hard as it was for you, you also, took it on.
Yeah.
In retrospect, it helped you a lot.
Yeah, and I was also thinking about this yesterday. That something that you've mentioned that like you intuitively hear Korean, right?
That's right.
But you have to listen
To English.
to
yeah.
English.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like that applies to like everything. Even like it takes like dedications and practice like over time to like even maintain
yeah.
in a certain level.
Right.
Right? Like Koreans, for example, like I'm not speaking it, I'm forgetting it. I feel like we both
Yeah,
are forgetting it,
we're
right?
losing the edge.
Yeah, and also coding skill too. Like if you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
code every day,
don't use it.
you lose it in a
yeah.
week, right?
Yeah.
So it's I feel like it's a constant like grind, and at the time I didn't realize that. It's like it's a constant grind. Like I felt like I could just like tomorrow I feel like things could get better. Because it happened to me one day, right? I was one day in North Korea, right? And then I came to China,
I see.
and then my life from China got
Oh,
all of a sudden better when I came to America,
I
right?
see.
So I'm still in the mentality of like, yeah, things got a lot better, right? It's like in a snap of a finger,
I see.
right? And
Okay.
so like with the English, like learning
I
certain
see.
like doing like certain things, like it would get better like really quick.
So
like,
am I
really
understanding right?
easy.
You were like, I mean, what happened is literally your environment changed and things just got better.
Yeah,
So
right.
like that you're holding your breath for the environment change again, maybe.
Right,
Although
yeah.
it was now your turn to put in the work to get something
Right,
out.
right.
Okay.
But it wasn't happening, right? It was like 2 years, bro. Like, why am I not speaking any English? Why is it not getting any better? Yes.
Right.
So it was really tough. And I almost like really gave up on school. And I started drinking.
How?
I was 21.
Mm.
So
Okay, so you were able to.
right. I was able to. And here's an interesting bit too. Like, while I was attending high school, like I went to Korean church in Concord, Contra Costa. It's in Contra Costa.
yeah.
It's anyway. So, like, I really wanted. So my foster family took me to Chinese church because I wanted to learn Chinese. Like, I have this kind of like a thing where I'm so aspired, to learn, right? To like to just take on many challenges. Like, I want to do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. and then eventually just slowly dies, like one by one.
Right, it's
die.
not sustainable to sign up for too many things, right? Eventually, something's
So
gotta give.
something's gonna give, right? So like learning English and learning Chinese, and learning math, like going to high school, right? Learning things
and
like
working too.
and working too. So I was like, you know what? I can't go to Chinese church anymore because like I want to understand something. And, like I feel like I need to understand because
Right.
at this point I'm just like, oh yeah, at school, like teacher is saying something, I'm like, yeah, okay, like I get 10% of that, I'm happy. Move on, right? And then go to like sushi restaurants, and the sushi like 사장님 is like keep like the bosses keep telling me something. Oh, do this one this way, do this one that way. Like I get like 50% of that. Sure, I'm just gonna I'm gonna take that, and then I'm gonna just let it go. Right, I'm gonna move on.
You needed a space where you felt like you can totally comprehend what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's important. Yeah.
And therefore, I was like, okay, now like I was at Chinese church, and I didn't get like even 1% of it because it's like it's Chinese. Well,
right.
Well, I mean, like
I mean, you probably did like a couple words here and there.
right, but it's like it's more of like it's not every day is Chinese, right? It's more of like a spiritual Chinese, like the
that's
Bible,
different.
right? And the translation, and it's more comprehensive Chinese. It's not just like simple like, are you hungry? You know,
right.
Did you eat? You know, it's like so I gave up. I told my foster parents, it's like my foster mom, like I want to go to Korean church. So
right.
I did go to Korean church, and man, like the first Sunday that I was there, like I was a celebrity. You know?
Oh, really?
Because I mean, yeah, because like so there's like a two congregation, well not two congregation, two service, right? So there's like the Korean service.
Oh yeah.
And then the youth group service in the afternoon.
That one's in English, right?
In the afternoon is English, and in the
see.
morning
Yeah,
it's
morning,
Korean,
Yep.
right? And the older generations, like 60s and 70s, they're Korean, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like they're from North Korea, and I'm from North Korea.
Wait, there were North Koreans there?
Well, I mean, like their parents, right?
Oh, right. So they remember the time
when
like maybe their parents were reminiscing
right.
about the unified Korea. Yeah.
Right,
okay.
right.
Gotcha.
So they was just like, oh, come to me and it's like, oh yeah, when I was like young, my mom used to tell me this, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, so I remember my dad was like, coming to
that's
like
awesome.
DMZ, I was like, okay. But it was really cool. And like even the youth group too, like I did not like in the Korean service, like I understood like certain things, like certain words, but even though it was a Korean, like I did not understand what like 성령 meant.
Oh,
and
Holy
like
Spirit, right? Like,
yeah,
because
and
you've
like,
never heard of that word.
right?
Before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a 축복. It's like a
blessing. Really?
Yeah, blessing. That
wow.
I don't think I've ever heard 축복, like the word 축복.
Fascinating. Okay.
In North Korea.
Yeah,
right?
I mean it is a bit of a religious term. Yeah.
And what else? Like there's a lot of terms that I quite frankly didn't understand, like 예배. Oh, like 예배 is like worship is 예배 is like a kind of it's like a new word too. So there's a lot of things that I needed to get used to.
I see.
But it was far better than like not understanding English.
Yeah,
right?
was it like fun or what was it like? Like
it was
weekly, I guess.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah. So like I basically embedded myself into this church community, right? So after church, like because I didn't have a car, and because like my foster family couldn't drop me off to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
So one of the 장로님s from church,
yeah,
right?
the elders.
Yeah, the elders would come pick me up. And then drop me off at the church, and we'll like I was in a choir too, so I was saying.
Oh wow, big
so
church then, huh?
Well, it's a small church.
How many people you think in the congregation?
Every Sunday, probably like 60.
Oh, that's pretty big for a Korean. It's an immigrant church, right?
Yeah,
so that's got
it's fairly
size.
big.
Yeah.
I think, and that was the only Korean church in the
area.
in the
Okay.
area
Yeah.
too,
Wow. Okay.
So it was fun. It was fun, and we'll go to like church retreats. But at one point, like I also slowly fell apart from that church community.
Oh, why?
Because, like, I would attend two services, right?
Yeah.
Korean in the morning and then English in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to like comprehend like you mentioned, right? Like I wanted to comprehend like what was like going on, like what's going on around me, like fully.
Right.
I wanted to understand fully. When I was attending Korean service, like all of the people that are around me are like 70s, right?
So
Like
no one in your age.
no one in my age,
Oh.
like culturally different, right? It's
Yeah.
like I don't really get what they're saying. Like
Yeah.
all they talk about is like retirement, you know, and
right.
like I mean, like whatever the 70-year-old
Let's talk about right. Certainly not
like
what
golf, you
the
know,
early 20s are doing.
right,
Yeah.
right. And every time you know somebody's like speaking something, it's gotta start with like, oh, you're North Korea, like 너네 김정은,
Oh.
or
Like,
너네 북한.
oh, interesting. So they kind of othered you. I think that's what, right? Like you were not. It seems like they treated you like you're not exactly
Outsider.
Yeah, right.
Like
Part
even
of
like,
the same community.
yeah, it's not. It's yes. So that's like a very like that's what drove me crazy, you know, because like in a
Yeah.
Korean church community, like we're brothers and sisters, like
Right.
under Christ,
Right. That's what it's
We're-
supposed
we're-
to be.
We're supposed to be, but I could see this subtle hint of
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm better than you. It's like, oh,
Right.
because you know I
Yeah.
have these things and these things, like because you didn't have this, I had this, like I'm better than you.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I kind of felt like, you know, maybe I was just thinking too much.
No, I don't think
So
you were imagining that. I think that happens in churches, that happens in Korean communities. I think the older generation, I think I've also seen, you know, some bits and pieces of it too. There's a lot of pride, right? And then a lot of it
Yeah.
also expectation of respect and reverence for the older generation, whether they deserve it or not. And being a young person among that kind of culture, again, just because the culture is different, can be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for saying that too. Like,
Yeah,
thanks for
of course.
verifying. I, you know, I had a tough time like understanding that, and also like taking in mind that I grew up by myself. Like, I grew up
Right.
without anybody telling me what to do. Like,
I see.
yeah, as like a homeless kid, right? Sure,
Right,
like
of course.
I had to like, there is like a top level things that I couldn't do, like you know, don't speak ill about North Korea, like,
Right.
you know, the regime. But like parenting skill, like I didn't have parents like telling me micromanaging like what to do, right, day to day life and things like that. And I'm sure like some of the Korean church people, like they would actually try to help me, right, to micromanage my life, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so after school you should come here and you should do this, you know, you should do that.
I know what
And
you
then
mean.
oh yeah, so go to like McDonald's, use their Wi-Fi and study, you know,
Yeah.
and I'll drop you off, you know. I know it's out of their goodness of their heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But sometimes it's like that felt kind of overbearing.
No,
to
yeah,
me.
I know what
like
you mean. Yeah.
it was kind
Right.
of like, no, I want to be free, you know?
Right.
Like the first like couple of weeks, right, or first couple of months, like it was like I feel so loved, you know, and I
Yeah.
feel like I have a parents. Oh, this is what I was
I
missing,
see.
you know. It's like I love this, like thank you so much, you know. But some time passed, and then it kind of felt like, why are they doing this, you know? Like, so it kind of
Right.
felt overbearing.
Right. Especially to a young person, you know. Yeah.
Right,
You have so many things that you want to do your way, right? Whether
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
best way or
and-
not.
Yeah, and it was tough, right? And also on top of that, like while I was attending the youth group, like nobody spoke Korean.
Dang.
Or let me put it better, nobody attempted or put in the effort to speak Korean with me.
I see. Yeah. I mean, what were the age groups there? Was it actually youth, like teens, or was that little just younger generation, like 20s, 30s?
Yeah, early 20s, like
I see.
yeah, early
So
20s.
they were probably all second generations who were born in the States or came
Right,
really
right.
early. They probably don't have the skills to really converse. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was, I felt just really out of place.
I know what you mean there. I actually visited when I was youth myself. In fact, like around that area, I think might have been the same church potentially. I'm not 100% sure. Afternoon youth group service, bunch of Korean kids speaking English and having a very, or at least at the time that I understood it as like the white person culture, right? This
Yeah.
is not how like the kids behave in like my country, my age.
Yeah.
And it just felt weird because they look like they're Koreans, but they're not.
Yeah, it's just like fully just like, you know, that's-
Yeah,
it was
and although I understood the language, I did not want to do anything with that.
Yeah,
I did not associate with them. I didn't.
Yeah. That's
It's a weird feeling.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. And for me too, like, well, for me it's a little different. I want to be there. Like I wanted to do that. Like
you wanted to be.
I wanted to be included in that group, right? Like I don't know. Like I want to be.
So it is different. Okay.
Because I'm lonely, you know.
Right.
Like I don't have.
You want to join the mainstream.
Right. I want to be a part of, like, it's like I can't be a part of like 70, 80-year-old like groups, right?
That's
Because like there's nothing that I can talk about.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't know what's a retirement. It's like I don't know how to save money, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to like get away from it now because they're just overbearing.
Right.
And I want to spend time with like people
your
that are my age.
Yeah.
But we don't speak the same language. But I want to. Like,
Right.
I want to be there. I kind of want to join their groups, but it kind of felt like it's like a different groups, right? They just put it in the groups, and it's always kind of like as I move, like, you know, like the oil drop in a big pool of water, right? It's just like and then the oil just goes
shifts around.
Yeah, shifts around the water. I feel like the oil.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was like. It was very, very hard. And although like there was a lot of good church friends too. Like there was like especially two church, like those youth group leaders, right, who would like host like small groups and whatnot. So they did really nice things to me as well. They actually put in an internet at my place for me, and they bought me a laptop.
Wow.
Laptop and internet for me. Like I didn't know what internet was at the time.
Whoa!
Right?
Really?
I didn't have the concept of internet. Like this was Korean church. Like I attended this Korean church probably like 3 months or 4 months. Like after I came to America. So it was pretty early on.
Yeah, but still for during those times. And what year is this again?
2012.
Wow, you somehow managed for 3 or 4 months in the United States without encountering internet?
No,
I not even at school.
No.
Whoa,
I did not.
Wild.
I did not, because I didn't know how to use the library either.
Right.
Like I did not know how to use a computer either.
Wow.
Like I did not know what PowerPoint was until like at my at school, like they teach you that, right? Like a computer, like a lab school. It's like, oh yeah, go to PowerPoints, open up PowerPoints. What the heck is PowerPoint? And like I did not have like the good understanding of the Chrome or Google. Like it was all foreign concept to me.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Understandable.
And I remember getting an like Asus laptop, and I was just like blown away. And I'm just like trying to figure out what the heck is this thing that you can do. Yeah. So I mean, they did a lot of nice things to me too. Right. It's not like, but sometimes it just At one point, I felt like I feel like I don't belong here, like Korean church, and it was a struggle for me to just like stay there, and it slowly like drifted apart, and at some point I stopped going to the church.
Wow.
And then that was that.
Wow. Yeah.
And right after that, so I and that happened like from like the first 3 months of sort of 3 to 4 months coming to America, and then like about 2 years into, right, like going to high school, having like working, and also like struggling all this like why aren't I learning anything, kind of like the crisis,
right.
And then 2015 rolls around, and it is time for me to graduate.
Right, you're senior.
Right. Yeah, I'm now a senior, and I don't have enough credit to graduate.
Oh,
because I don't.
You didn't pass enough classes. Right? Yeah. But what do you do?
So there was this program for troubled kids,
which you were one.
Which I was one. So they sent me to like a high school within a high school, where you can just do the classwork, and then you can actually get credits, so that you can graduate.
Interesting.
So I went to. So it's called Summit High School within Concord High School.
Interesting.
There's like a little sub program.
Is
for
it on
this,
the same
like-
campus?
It's on the same campus.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Oh,
on the, it's
cool.
on the same campus, like a very far corner of the campus.
Yeah.
And that's where I actually learned about stocks too. That's where I learned
Really?
stocks. That's where I learned um, yeah, and that's where I actually started writing. Like, got the idea of like
Uh-huh.
writing my book. Like, writing, because
from
like
that class.
from that class, it's like
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, because like there was a finance class, right?
Uh-huh,
Economics class, and
Yep.
then there's English class, because
Mm.
like that's the two classes that I needed to graduate. So I took that class, and for the finance class, like, like he was teaching me about like stocks. I don't know how it stuck to me. He was teaching me about stocks, and then on the English class, the teacher said to me like, "Oh, because he knew that I was from North Korea, he told me like, oh yeah, so if you actually write your entire story, like I would accept that. Like just write a 50-page essay, and then I would accept that, and I'll give you a pass." I was like, okay, I'll do that.
Wow.
So I did write, and that actually helped me a lot.
It did.
Really,
In
like
terms of
writing,
what?
because I did write, like I did write like my book in like a 50 pages essay in English, right? So at the time, like it didn't feel like anything, but after writing, like I kind of like could organize my thoughts really well, like
wow.
start to build on like what I was thinking,
Oh,
right? And then I
that's
could
amazing.
actually articulate and say it.
Wow. It seems like it really tapped an untapped potential
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
had.
yeah. So
Wow.
I was very thankful, and then I graduated, and Joaquin, my social worker, came. Mariah, which is my all of my the supporters, like my big fans, right? They come to graduations and they're like, "Congratulations, you passed the class!"
Wow.
And which was not easy. Like still this day, I hold my high school diploma very dear to me, because like yes, this is a proof that I can do it. Like
right.
English was it was very tough. Like I did not know like what I didn't. I had no idea what I was doing at school. Like yeah, but I got a high school diploma, and this is a proof. And after graduating, like it was, let me tell you, it was even tougher. It was even difficult, more difficult.
Yeah. So where are you now? Like you're
So-
at least done with school.
Mhm.
Are you still working?
I am working now. I'm
Okay.
working like a full time, right? I'm
Oh,
working
I
full time as a
see.
sushi chef.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, like I would start working at like 10 a.m. So and then prepare for lunch,
Right.
and then from lunch to like dinner, or
Yeah.
still to dinner. It was okay. It was okay. Working as a sushi chef. But I don't know. I felt like I was made for more
Oh.
in a way.
Wow.
Yeah, I like I like making sushi, and I enjoy the work. But I don't know. It was like I was just doing it because it was an obligation. Like I felt like it didn't feel right to me working at sushi restaurants. So I had a lot of, maybe I was just lazy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not like you skipped work or anything.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
But eventually I did.
Huh.
Like
And then
eventually, no call, no show. Like I would do that.
Just is that because you felt like you're supposed to be doing something else in your life?
Yeah. And I was getting depressed. Like I could feel like I was
wow.
like declining in my life.
Uh-huh.
And I quit sushi restaurant. And well, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I actually purchased the Audi A4. Have I told you that story?
No. Okay. We gotta hear about the Audi A4, please.
So while I was in high school, right? I used to ride bicycle to high school.
Yeah.
And it's like spending has been like, I don't know, like owning a new thing. To me felt like it's coping me with whatever anxiety or whatever like current situations that I'm in.
Right.
Remember, it's like my environment changed like completely, and I was fine, right? So it's kind of like I was in China, right? I was like running for my life,
Right.
but because I came to America, it doesn't happen. Like I'm safe now. It's like
Yeah.
environment changed and everything is good.
Yeah.
Right? So like I want to create that kind of like
Interesting.
whenever I feel like I'm running away,
Uh-huh.
like I want to change my environment. Right? It's like I want to like clean my room. I want to
see.
reorganize my room.
Rearrange your furniture.
Yeah, rearrange my furniture.
Oh,
or even
interesting.
better yet, buy all like different clothes or different
Okay.
shoes
Uh-huh.
or buy a car.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, did you like know it at the time? That's
I
what
did
you're
not.
doing. Oh, okay.
No, I did
see.
not. Like I felt like I want to own something new every single day. Like I would go to like Kmart after school, like every single day. Like I would just hang out at Kmart. You know, I would just look at things. You know, like, oh, that would look really good on my feet. You know, that looks really good on my. You know, it's gonna be good. Yeah, and then eventually I, wanted to buy a car, which I shouldn't have because I didn't have the money to. But
I mean, was this like I'm sure you didn't just like walk into a dealership. Like how
I did.
you really you did?
I just walked into the dealership, right? So, well, let me be fair. I had $2,000. Like I was while I was working as a sushi chef.
Wow,
like,
yeah,
I would save
up a little
up.
bit.
I would save up tips. I would save up like my money that I earned from like weekly. Like I think I got like $450 per week.
That's not
Well,
bad.
it's not bad. I know it's a lot back in like 2013.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a decent bit.
So I, and then I spent, of course, I spent a lot. I buy this, buy that, buy that, and then, and I saved $2,000.
Wow.
And I still remember the dealership name. It's called Calidat Motors. it's on where's here? There's two dealerships in Concord, and one of them anyway. The guy's name. Okay, we shall remain.
We won't say
anonymous. Yeah, but this guy, is like smiling. It's it's like one of those like a typical, like salesman. Salesman.
He wants to sell
and
you a car.
he comes up to me and I told him like again like I'm speaking broken English, like I don't speak that well.
Right.
Like, I was like, yeah, I can still communicate, but not confidently. Not like this. Not like us having a conversation. It's more like, oh yeah, I want to buy a car. It's like it's like for the Korean accent,
I mean, it's like this is like a Audi dealership.
No, it's not Audi. It's a used car dealership.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And this guy, as soon as I walk in, his eyes changes to $, right? Right, and then like, oh, come on in. Right, and then I told him like I have $2,000 and I want to buy a used car. Like I could buy it with cash. And he's like, oh yeah, no worries. Come with me. And he's showing me around the parking lot, and showing me these cars and like, oh yeah, this Audi just came in. And I'm like, Audi?
You don't know.
I don't know what's Audi. Like, what is Audi? But it sure looks good. It's got 2005 Audi A4. It's got a nice leather seats. And it's very nice and pretty looking.
Oh yeah.
And it drives like it's like it responds very quickly. As I step on the gas.
Wait a minute. So you at this point you got the driver's license.
That's
somehow.
That's right.
Okay, we'll
I
come back
gotta
to
talk about that
we
too. Actually,
we gotta cover that. But yeah, please continue.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just start. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, and then so we looked at. I don't know if we looked at any other cars, but this guy actually just showed me this car. Right. This guy was just like, oh yeah, come with me. I got this car. I have this beautiful car, a nice car. I think you love it. Come with me. And he hands me the keys. And then like I have the car keys in my hand. I fell in love. Right. I was like, I love it. This is it. I'm gonna take it. Take my money. I don't know what you're doing, but take my money. And then this guy was like working something, something, makes calls. Like, oh, here, sign something. And I don't know what the heck is going on, but sign, and call. And then you're good to go. And he hands me this gigantic big book. Right. Hands it to me. I go home, and like a couple months later, the car starts to break down. Like first, there was a timing belt. Second, it was the engine oil leak, and then third, it's transmission.
Oh my goodness!
At the end of 9 months,
he sold your junk.
No, the car actually was drowned, and it was overheated.
Oh,
yeah. So the car actually was drowned and overheated.
I see.
And then worst of all, this guy actually sold it to me for $12,000.
What?
Yeah, so I did not look. I vaguely remember like he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna we're going to take a loan like 8,000 something like that, but 8,000 and then like 2,000 and something interest rate, so it was total of $12,000
Oh my goodness.
for 80,000 like a 2005.
I mean, I had
Audi
a feeling that
A4.
the 2005 Audi A4 in 2012 probably wouldn't have been $2,000, but 12,000? That seems like a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these guys basically,
You got scammed.
I got scammed. I got screwed over, right?
Right.
And then after 6 months, the
Uh-huh.
car completely got totaled.
Wow.
I could not drive it.
Just broke down.
It just broke down. Like
Oh.
as I'm driving,
Uh-huh.
I would hear like
Oh no.
the transmission was like
Oh my.
yeah, so the engine light is on, and I would literally take that car to the dealership every single day. You sold me this car and it's not drivable. And you know what the guy say?
What do you say?
He says, "Oh, it's just your luck. Like you got just unlucky with the car."
Oh, come on, man.
I was like,
I'm glad you mentioned at least a dealership name.
yeah, no, it's like, yeah, you just got unlucky.
All right.
I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
Man.
But I mean, at this point, like, I can't really do anything, right? Because
Right.
like, okay, yeah, I bought the car.
Yeah, you signed the
And now-
paperwork.
signed
Of course,
paperwork.
not knowing anything what the contract says. right?
Yeah,
But-
yeah, I didn't read it over. I mean, like, I didn't really have a good concept of like money.
Mm.
Like, what is a credit card?
Uh-huh.
Like, what is credit? Like, what am I using loans
Yeah,
for?
right.
Yeah, so
And you're paying for it. Like the bills are coming to you, right?
500
Oh.
a month, like
Oh my
500 a
goodness.
month. Like I'm
Yikes.
making like 800 a month, right?
You might as well have leased a brand new Audi A4 at this point.
I didn't know that. I
Right,
did not
right.
know.
How
but
would you
it
know?
Just
How would you know? You
charge me maximum interest
Right, of course.
and charge me like as much as like, cause like he knew that I didn't know. I knew
Right.
nothing
he
about
knew
a
that
car.
you wouldn't negotiate. You wouldn't look into anything.
Yeah. It's like, oh
wow.
yeah, here, $12,000.
Yeah.
Anyway, so because of that, like I needed to work even harder.
Mm.
Right. So that's why I was obligated
I see.
to
That's
go
where the
to
obligation
sushi
comes from.
restaurants
Okay.
and work every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me really unhappy.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And after my car broke down,
Uh-huh.
like that even more devastated me.
Uh-huh.
So with like, okay, so now I know.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not gonna get scammed.
Oh.
Like I am determined. I'm like, okay, so now I'm gonna go to a better dealership. I'm gonna go to like Honda dealership in Concord,
Uh-huh.
and they're not gonna screw me over
Okay.
because I'll do all of this research
I
and
see, I
I would
see.
just negotiate and
Uh-huh.
I'll do it.
Uh-huh.
I walk in, I see a brand new car,
Oh no.
and then he's like, "Do you want to take it?"
Oh my goodness.
It's like, "Yes, I'll take it."
Oh yeah, I mean they're good, right? I mean the whole enterprise set up so that you would fall in love with the car and the whole experience.
That's
so
right.
It's hard to get out of that.
And here so now I remember the business logistics, right? Or I
Uh-huh.
remember what happened.
Uh-huh.
So the interest rates on the car at the time,
Uh-huh.
like in 2014, 2015,
Yeah.
that was the Honda Civic. It was
Uh-huh.
a Honda Civic,
Brand new?
brand new Honda
Wow.
Civic. With the negotiations and with a decent interest rate, like I think they got like, I think one of my friend was talking about like 8% or like a 10% interest rate,
Mm.
and it could have, they bought like one of them bought it actually $11,000, which was it was a deal,
Brand new?
brand new. It was a
What?
deal, yeah, brand new Honda Civic,
11,000.
11,000, yeah.
Okay, wow.
That's what she told me. She was working with me, right? And then
Uh-huh.
she's like, yeah, 11,000. That's a good.
Uh-huh.
Like that's a good deal.
Yeah, I think
brand
so.
new Honda Civic.
Uh-huh.
And then I actually bought it 24,000
Uh-huh.
Honda, like a brand new Honda Civic
Uh-huh.
for $24,000
Yeah.
with the interest rate of 24%
Oh,
APR,
yikes. That's like a credit card rate almost.
right?
Yeah.
It was the highest, like the maximum that it could go for.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about a car, and I
You
I
thought
wanted-
that's what everyone else does or something?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-huh.
credit card goes right over my head, and I
Oh.
don't know.
Mm.
Like foster, if I had if I could actually, if I went there with a foster, care family, like
Yeah.
maybe they were like, oh yeah, don't
Yeah,
buy
they would have been like,
it.
Charles, this is not a reasonable like rate
You don't
or
even make
price or
that much money.
that's right.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have a job. You don't. I mean, you work at a sushi restaurant, but
Uh-huh.
that's
Right.
not a sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
the thing to do.
Right.
But anyway, okay, so I bought it, brand new car,
Oh,
Honda
no.
Civic,
Oh my goodness.
2014. Was it 2015? And I actually gotta be to a certain extent,
Uh-huh.
so now, like, fast forward like 2 years later, I actually voluntarily just like surrender the car. It's like, oh yeah, because you screwed me over again. Like,
Uh-huh.
cause like I went there to buy
Uh-huh.
a used car.
Yeah.
Like I had $3,000 because
Wow.
I got a loan from a credit union,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna buy a car.
Oh, I
Because
see.
I got a like a personal loan from a credit union,
Uh-huh.
so that I can buy a used car, like
Oh, wow.
just cash,
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
$3,000.
Right.
This is all I have.
Uh-huh.
I own a car.
Uh-huh.
But this Honda dealership guys took that money, put it. Oh, you can, if you pay a down payment on this, you could buy a brand new car. Like, are you sure you don't want a brand new car? Like, yeah, used cars, like, don't buy it. Why do you want to buy a used car? Buy a new car,
Right.
right? And then they literally forced me to buy a brand new car. I'm like, well, okay, fine. Like, I bought it,
Yeah.
and also the payment is like 500, like 550.
Oh my
Like plus
goodness.
insurance, plus gas is like $700 a month.
Yeah, that's
right?
wow, yikes.
So I've got screwed over twice
Twice.
with a car.
Uh-huh.
And fast forward 2 years later, I dropped the car off. It's like I literally drove the car
Uh-huh.
to the Honda dealership.
Uh-huh.
Oh well, I mean, like for the 2 years, I was actually driving, right? I was driving like
Yeah.
Uber. I was driving Lyft.
I see,
and I was
okay.
driving like, those kind of like I
Uh-huh.
would go to like Saturday night, Sunday night. I would stay up like all night,
Mm.
and also I was attending coding boot camp.
Wow.
Yeah. So with that, right? So yeah, it was. I feel like it's all like a scrambled now, but so I graduated high school.
Uh-huh.
Right. I was working at a sushi restaurant. So while I was in high school, I was working at a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
And I bought my first car, Audi A4,
Mm-hmm.
which broke down within like 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 6 months. I drove 9,000 miles.
Whoa,
And
yeah,
that's it.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It was still something.
yeah, so
right?
you got something out of it, but
12,000.
But for 12,000, that's
Yeah,
not
no,
worth it
it
at
was
all. Yeah.
it was bad. And then I went to a Patoco credit union, and then I got $3,000 personal loan, and then I went to Honda car dealership in Concord, and then ended up buying a brand new car.
Oh my goodness. Right, you got to pay off the 3,000 and the car payment.
That's right. So, working at a sushi restaurant, it was not enough. So
Yeah.
while working at a sushi restaurant, I also started driving Uber and Lyft.
Wow.
Well, at this point, I graduated high school, right?
right.
It's like all of this at the same time.
My goodness.
So graduated high school,
Uh-huh.
and then driving Lyft, Uber, and then I was telling people, and like my story. And at some point, like I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I can't take this anymore. Like I'm so done.
Right.
Like I need to, like, I don't know what to do. So I fell into this like deep depression of like like literally that's when I would just stay up 24 hours straight,
Wow.
and then like sleep 48 hours like straight up,
Oh wow.
and I would just eat like big piece of Pizza Hut pizza. Yeah, and then I attended coding boot camp. Like it was kind of like a divine like sign that it's like, yeah, I want to, like, so a friend of mine kind of like asked me, what do you want to do with your life,
Uh-huh.
and like, what do you feel like you would enjoy doing?
Uh-huh.
It's like, I don't know. And she asked me, because she's actually my North Korean friend. So we knew in North Korea, and like she's the Tanbi.
Oh wow, she's the lady who was like, I'm not gonna be here, I'm gonna be gone.
Right. Yeah. So she
That's it.
actually, she was like,
Wow.
there is an opportunity that I know might interest you. So she introduced me to Link, Liberty in North Korea, and Liberty in North Korea introduced me to Coding Dojo.
I see.
So Coding Dojo took me in because of Link. And yes, I studied really hard.
Wow.
So while I was attending coding bootcamp, I couldn't focus, so I ended up taking Adderall.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I got a so my social worker got connected me to a doctor, and then the doctor diagnosed that, oh, you have ADHD, so you need to take Adderall. I was like, sure, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Adderall was. And I would take Adderall, so they would advise me like, oh, just take half of it every day. But I would take the full pill because like I don't really care. So I took the full pill, and then I would drink coffee.
Oh my goodness! On top of it,
and then I would drink Red Bull.
Oh,
like I'm like,
oh, yeah, vibrating all the way through.
So it's like, for the first like 2 weeks of taking it, like I could really focus. Like I could see like knowledge coming into the Python code coming into my brain, right?
Wow.
And it would actually stay, but I could not fall asleep.
Yeah. Like you don't say.
Yeah, and I could not eat. Like anything that I eat,
yeah,
I would throw up.
Really?
Yeah. So like having Adderall, it's like, so I told my doctor, and it's like, you should probably stop taking that. And I lost a lot of weight. Like I was actually like 98 pounds.
Whoa.
Like while I was attending, like living off of like coffee and
Wow.
So anyways, I was attending coding bootcamp and then living off of like literally coffee, Red Bull, and Adderall, not eating well. And then I finished coding bootcamp, but I didn't pass it. I failed.
Oh.
Even though I studied really, 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 really hard. Like it was more of like language barriers.
Yeah.
As well as like the concepts. Like I didn't understand the concept of like coding.
Right.
Like not well enough that like within 3 months, like I'm now like a professional.
Crazy. No. Yeah. I mean, you barely, graduated high school, and even that was a, new experience for you.
Exactly. So. And then I failed. And I feel like, okay, I'm not going to do coding anymore.
Really?
Like, I hate coding. So and after that, I used to live in San Jose while I was attending coding bootcamp. Well, the first coding bootcamp, I commuted. And then after graduating, I met a friend in San Jose who was a North Korean defector.
Oh.
And she was working as a driving instructor in Cupertino.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
So she introduced me to her boss, and I actually started working as a driving instructor.
Oh, really? For people?
Yeah. So I needed to take the exam.
I never heard this before.
Yeah. So I needed to take the exams, and I would take these high school kids out on the driving, right? Because like they're 14, 16.
Oh my God, that's nerve-wracking.
Whoa! It was terrifying. It was so bad. But there was like a trick to it. Like, so you are supposed to take them out for 3 hours, right? For an hour, I would just sit, and then I would just like do I think it was like hour and a half. I think they're total of like 3 hours. They need to complete like total of 3 hours with the driving instructor.
Oh, it's what's required. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's required. So like one and a half hour, but like for 30 minutes or like a 45 minutes, like I would just sit them down and I would just like draw, like, go over the rules of like the traffics, and like a T, like a T
You
sign.
Lecture them.
Right. Instead of driving,
time.
right?
Yeah, because like that's terrifying.
Yeah, because like also like, I have to pay the gas. Yeah, and then also like the insurance, I have to pay it, and also like, anyway, so I was working as a driving instructor for like 3 or 4 months, and then, I don't know, I felt like I gave up too easily on the coding, right? And one day, like, I was talking to like a different friends, and I heard how much they're making, and I was like,
yeah, right. That's the motivating factor, isn't it?
You make that much money?
Yeah. Do you remember the figure? Like how?
Yeah, I think it was like $120,000.
Yeah. Well, that sounds about right.
Like that was just crazy to me. Like
that is a crazy amount of money, right?
Yeah, I'm making like 30,000 right now, right? As like a driving instructor,
right?
And you're making 120,000.
Yeah, quadruple. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going back.
Oh, so
I'm going back, buddy.
well, I gotta hear about that. But I think we're at time.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
But alongside the driving story, how you got the license too, I'm sure that's a fun story.
Yes, yes. We'll get to that as well. So, well, thank you, Mike, and thank you so much, listeners, for joining this show. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you have any questions or feedback or anything, if you'd like to talk to us, please email us at info.rubberducking@gmail.com. That's info.rubberducking@gmail.com. So I'll catch you in the next one.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and bye.
Bye-bye.